Hello everyone, my name is Șerban and today I'm going to show you how to draw or create graphical illustrations or diagrams using draw.io, a free web-based platform. In our example, we'll use a SEM model where we have conscientiousness, neuroticism, and work engagement. So let's get started. Create a new tab, type in draw.io, press enter, create a new diagram. Let's name our new file SEM example. Hit the create button. This is our main menu. On the left side is used to create objects and the right side is used to edit the objects. We will use a circle to illustrate the latent variables. Do you remember we have 3 latent variables? So we'll also need to create 3 latent variables. We can either select our circle, use Ctrl+C command and Ctrl+V command to create a new circle, or we can just click on the left panel and we get a new object. Okay. You'll see when you drag and drop objects around your main screen, you'll see blue lines. They help us to properly arrange our figures. And it's quite helpful. You'll see it later. Okay, now we have our 3 latent variables. Now we need to create the items. For that, we're going to use the square object. Let's make a small square, 50 by 50. And do remember, we need 5 items for each latent variable. So I'm going to select my square, use Ctrl+C command and Ctrl+V to create multiple instances of the square. I first start by putting one square in the middle of this circle. And you can see the blue lines, they really help us have equal distance between our objects. Amazing. Okay, select all squares. Use Ctrl+C command and then Ctrl+V to create 5 more squares. It's much more easier instead of creating a new square and then add them one by one to the other latent variable. Now we need 5 more items for our third latent variable. Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and now we need to change the orientation of these 5 squares. So we'll go to arrange first. We're going to click the group function, and you see here a small button that allows us to rotate our circles. Our squares. Amazing. Let's name our latent variables. So here we have neuroticism, here we have conscientiousness, and here we have work engagement. We will also name our items. So neuroticism item number 1 will be N1, item number 2 N2, and so on. Same goes for conscientiousness, C1, C2, 3, and so on. And work engagement. Oh, sorry. Make sure you click on the square. Otherwise, you get that small deviation. E1, E2, E3, and so on. Now we need to rotate the text inside the boxes. So select all squares, go to text, click on the vertical button, and it still doesn't look good. So let's try something else. Select all squares. Actually, no. Click on only one square, and you'll get the option to rotate all squares again. So click on it, rotate them 90 degrees, and voila. Now it's properly arranged. Now we'll need to create arrows. For that, we have to be very careful with one thing. If I hover my cursor over neuroticism, I'm not clicking it, I'm just hovering above it. You'll see a green dot. Let's click on it and drag the arrow to our item number 1. And now we need to change the shape of the line. We go to Style and we choose a straight line. Awesome. So we use the green dot to link with the other green dot. We'll do the same for conscientiousness. Something. Okay, now it's properly fit. And work engagement. Again, we can see the line is not, sorry about that, the line is not straight. So I'm going to select the square, just move it a bit. Then I'm going to move all other squares. Okay, now it looks better. Okay. Now we need to associate the error for each item. In order to do that, we will create a directional connector from our left panel. Drag and drop it. Click on the blue dot to properly arrange it. I'm going to select it. I'm going to create another 4 instances of this arrow. Okay. Let's select all arrows. Control C, Control V. Oh, sorry about that. I'm going to do it again. Let's move them on top. Again, we go to Arrange and we group the arrows. By using this small button, we will rotate all arrows and we can make several adjustments. Again, select all arrows, we paste, and let me group. I've grouped them again. I'm going to rotate. Now, sometimes if I'm not very careful with the distance between squares, you get this, and this means that a bit of manual work. So I'm just going to select each arrow, maybe I should first ungroup them. Ungroup again. It appears I had them grouped twice. We have to be careful sometimes. And there we go. Oh, it looks really nice. Now we need to draw our last lines. Those are two directional lines from conscientiousness and neuroticism to work engagement. So I'm going to do that. The green dot connects to the other green dot. Same goes for neuroticism. We also need a relation variable or arrow, sorry. That's correlation between covariance between conscientiousness and neuroticism. The same thing, but we need to change the style of the arrow. So I'm going to use a curve arrow and just click and drag the middle blue dot. And because they share variance, we'll need arrows, one arrow here, and we already have one here. So just click on the line, and where it states none, click on it, choose an arrow. We can even edit the line itself. We can make it a dotted line. All right, and one last thing, we will need an error associated with engagement. Let's say E1. I'm going to create an arrow. You notice that every time you make a change in the right panel, the change becomes the default. So we need to change it to a straight line, a solid line, and we have to remove one of the arrows. Amazing. I think we're done, and now we can save and export our figure. But very important, when you go to File, first save as XML file. This allows us to edit later our figure in case we want to make some changes or we did some mistakes and we want to correct those specific mistakes. So I'm going to rename our file SEM blueprint. I'm going to save it on my device. SEM blueprint, save it, and let me show you for an example. I'm going to open another draw.io, and I'm opening an existing diagram. Go to my desktop, open my file, and now I can make changes. I can change the colors, whatever you need. Going back to our original blueprint, now we need to save it as a PNG or JPEG file, but I highly recommend you go to File, Export As, and choose the Advanced option. It will save it as a PNG format, and remember to choose 300 dpi. That means you get better quality of your figure. Make sure the background is transparent. Click on Export. Let's say we save it on our desktop and we say SEM figure 1. Click on Save. We open a new Word and we want to paste our figure here. Go to your desktop or where you saved your file, double click on it. Okay, it looks really nice. Control C to copy and Control V to paste. Yeah, this is it. This is draw.io. It's a very neat app. I highly recommend you to use it for SEM models, mediation models, moderation models, CFAs, and yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this short clip, and have a lovely day.